How's it going, YouTube? Terminator here. Today is going to be a bit of a different video. This is a real off-the-cuff, unprompted, why the heck are you recording this type of video. So, I'm just walking around, getting a little bit of exercise and not too much, so apologize if that kind of gets in the way of enjoyment of the video. But this is a Valentine's Day special going over relationships in Dragon Ball. Now, I did something for New Year's, but it was just a stream and it didn't really have anything to do with Dragon Ball in particular. It was just it had to do with Dragon Ball because it was a DBZ Kakarot stream. But this is just a off the cuff. I don't even know if you would call this a podcast because it's going to be pretty short. But I just wanted to take a second to talk about relationships in Dragon Ball, what I think of romance in Dragon Ball, if I think it works, and what I think about it appeals to me. I'll be going over some of my favorite relationships in Dragon Ball. And yes, there are some romances in Dragon Ball that I like. Some people say that Toriyama doesn't know how to write romance in Dragon Ball. That is kind of true. So I'm just going to be breaking down Dragon Ball relationships from my perspective. Alright, let's start with the big elephant in the room. That is Goku and Chi-Chi, the first big Dragon Ball relationship. Now you could say Yamcha and Bulma were the first relationship, but let's be real, nobody really talks about them much, and Yamcha's just a joke. So, moving on from that, Goku and Chi-Chi are cute. Whenever they first met, they were kids, and it was adorable and innocent. They were both able to ride the Nimbus and not fall through, so they were both pure of heart. Chi-Chi was crazy for Goku. She thought he was adorable, and that kind of relationship was cute because Goku had no idea what Chi-Chi was getting at. She was like, marry me, and Goku's like, marriage, what's that? And they hit it off from there. So it was really cute. I think the dub, if I get the facts wrong sometimes because it's been a while since I watched it and read it. I read the manga and I watched the anime, but I can't remember exactly how it went, but she pretty much asked for marriage, and Goku didn't know what it was. And then, of course, we get to the tournament, and Chi-Chi's like, you don't remember me? And Goku's all like, yeah, Chi-Chi! And then they kind of just fall in love, and I think they get married. Yeah, they get married at the tournament, and then it's happily ever after. Their relationship after that is a pretty straightforward relationship. I think it mainly it consists of Chi-Chi kind of just being impatient with Goku, but who couldn't be impatient with Goku because Goku isn't really cut out to be a husband or a provider. And we see that throughout the anime and the manga several times. But I think a lot of that, like, frustrated housewife Chi-Chi stuff, a lot of that is also just anime stuff. But you do get cute moments whenever Chi-Chi is, like, in love with Goku, and it's sweet. So they are the sweetest innocent couple, I guess you could say. But I have one more relationship on this list that I think is more sweet than Goku and Chi-Chi. But for them, I wouldn't say they're my favorite. Moving on to probably the second biggest relationship. That is, you probably did not guess, Krillin and Android 18. That's right, Krillin and Android 18. You were probably thinking I was going to say Bulma and Vegeta. But Krillin and Android 18, there's just something unique about them. Now, it's kind of the opposite of what happened with Vegeta and Bulma. And I don't hear a lot of people talk about this. I hear a lot of people say that, you know, Bulma turned Vegeta good, but we don't really hear a lot about, you know, I mean, sure, 18 was kind of good before she met Krillin, but you gotta think about this. Like, their relationship is kind of the opposite of Bulma and Vegeta's. You have Krillin turning 18 good. And 18 was kind of much more powerful than Krillin, kind of like how Vegeta was much more powerful than Bulma. But somehow, Krillin is able to attract 18 just through being a sweet, genuine, good guy. And 18 kind of finds that attractive. And we see them really hit it off screen, so we don't really see it, but we see a little bit of a flirtation there, especially whenever Krillin has her life in his hands, and he can't do it. The reason why he can't do it is because he remembers back to whenever she kissed him, and he kind of feels a certain way about that. Now, from her perspective, she was just playing with her food a little bit, you know? She was just teasing. But to him, she's like something special. And I feel like that kind of lets her know, like, hold up, wait a second. This guy's onto something. Maybe I am something special. And then I think they hit it off after that. And then, of course, we get the time skip, and then we go into the Boo saga, and they're in love, and they have a daughter, and everything's all fine and hunky-dory. And I really love in Dragon Ball Super whenever Trunks is like, future Trunks is like, whoa, what the heck is going on in this timeline? Because, of course, as we know, future Android 18 is a psychopath. But that is a really good relationship, one of my favorites in Dragon Ball. And then we also got Gohan and Videl. Now, I feel like this was the most romantic relationship in Dragon Ball. This is probably the only relationship in Dragon Ball where we've actually got a thought-out romance arc. I mean, with Goku and Chi-Chi, with Vegeta and Bulma, with 18 and Krillin, we had moments, right? We had like romantic moments of tension here and there, and then they get together, or they go through a more intense romantic arc off screen, and then after a time skip they're in a relationship, right? Well, actually, no, that didn't happen with Goku and Chi-Chi. We literally saw them get married. But that did happen with Vegeta and Bulma, and that did happen with 18 and Krillin. But with Gohan and Videl, I feel like that was the most thought out, because like I said, Goku and Chi-Chi was kind of like, oh, we're getting married? Okay, you know, but with Gohan, there's obvious romantic feelings for Videl. Videl had feelings for Gohan. We saw that develop as kind of like a cute high school crush type of thing. And we see that develop even more after DBZ to whenever they get married. We even see her get pregnant with Pan. We see Pan as a baby. And then, of course, in Superhero, we see her as a little girl. So this is the relationship that we've had the most insight into. And it's my favorite relationship in Dragon Ball. If you know me, I don't know if I've talked about it too much on the channel, but one of my favorite moments of Dragon Ball is the Orange Star High School arc, whenever Gohan is in high school, and the Great Saiyaman stuff, and him flirting with Videl in a strange way, just by them socializing with each other, and his identity being a secret, and Videl being onto him and everything. And then she develops feelings for him, and she realizes that he's much more than what he said he was, and he's mysterious and all that stuff. So that's kind of a cool relationship that they have, my favorite. Okay, and I think the last one I'm going to talk about in this video, that's going to be, of course, Vegeta and Bulma. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because everybody's talked about this relationship. It's a lot of people's favorites. Not my personal favorite, but it's definitely probably my second favorite. And it's kind of your classic, you know. Bulma is a very powerful human woman. As Vegeta explained, Saiyans like powerful women. So Bulma is like the only human woman that's able to rein Vegeta in. Vegeta likes that. They get together. It's sweet. You know what? I'm gonna step on it. I'm gonna step right in it. I wasn't wanting to, but we're going to do it. Mai and Trunks. That's right. I said it. Mai and Trunks. Now I know what you're saying. You're saying this video has been very unprofessional, and you're walking around the house recording this. What the heck are you thinking? And your takes are terrible. Well, get ready, because this take is not terrible. In fact, this is a take, an opinion, a statement that has been shared by many people, and I'm going to get it out there as well. What the heck are we doing? I mean, I wanted this video to be a little bit more positive, talking about the relationships of Dragon Ball for like a little Valentine's Day special. And then I got reminded, because of the Dragon Ball Super manga going on right now, that they are trying to build Trunks and Mai up as a relationship. So we're going to tackle that right now, right here on the channel. So, we have Mai, who is a full-grown woman, who we see who is already an adult in Dragon Ball whenever Goku is a child. A literal child, okay? We see her develop through Dragon Ball. Not really develop because she's a pretty flat villain. And then we get her in Dragon Ball Super. We also had them in Dragon Ball GT just to show you how crazy the relationship is. In Dragon Ball GT, Mai is an old lady, and Trunks is a young man who's the president of a company. Now, who saw that and went, you know what? I think we need to pair those two together. No, you're crazy. So, then we get to Dragon Ball Super. The Pilaf gang has made themselves into children, right? And they never really got wished back to being adults, which, I mean, I guess that kind of works in their favor because in Dragon Ball Super now they're kind of getting a little bit older, so it's like they're getting what they wanted in a way, you know, like to be young again. I think that's what they wanted in Dragon Ball GT, but it's crazy. Anyway, so what happens is in Dragon Ball Super, Mai sees future Trunks and is infatuated with him, just loves him, wants to be with him, thinks he's the most handsome man in the world, right? And here's the thing. In the future, Trunks is an adult. And Mai, in the future timeline, was also turned into a kid and then grew up in the future timeline. And they kind of hit it off and get in a relationship. It's not specified when in the future they get into a relationship, but it's presumed Trunks is already an adult because we didn't see them dating in Dragon Ball Z, and then we see them dating after that time skip from Z to Super. So in the years that passed in the future after Trunks went back, he obviously met Mai, who was an adult, and they got into a relationship. So that's okay, right? I mean, still a little weird, but we'll give it a pass because they're both consenting adults. Then we have Dragon Ball Super, whenever Kid Trunks sees Kid Mai, who is actually an adult in Mai's body, and he's got a crush on her, and she's not very interested. She's attracted to future Trunks because why? She's a grown woman in a kid's body. That makes sense. It's weird, but, you know, that's what it is. That's what they set up. So I'm laughing. It's funny. You know, Trunks is attracted to her. She doesn't know she's a full-grown woman. It's a joke, right? That's what you're thinking at the time. Fast forward to Dragon Ball Super, this latest arc, and it looks like they're trying to build them up as parallels to the future Trunks and Mai. And we saw that in that last chapter whenever Mai looks at Saiyaman X1 and kind of gets a glimpse of future Trunks and is like smitten. And they try to play it off like a genuine romantic moment. Doesn't work. So, what are you doing, Toei? What are you doing, Toriyama? What are you doing, Toyotaro? What are you doing? It just does not work. And I'm gonna have to ask you guys to take a seat. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. This was just a off-the-cuff video that I wanted to upload to talk about Dragon Ball relationships on Valentine's Day. Hope you enjoyed. If you did like the video, leave a like. If you have something to say, comment down below. And I hope to do more of these types of videos where it's a little bit more long form with minimal editing. That's kind of more like a podcast, but not really a podcast. And then maybe one day make a podcast. But if I do a podcast, it couldn't be just about Dragon Ball. I mean, Dragon Ball would be a segment on it, but I would have to have a podcast. And I like a lot of things, you know. I like DC, I like Star Wars, I like Game of Thrones, I like a bunch of stuff. So if I did a podcast, I would definitely just talk about a bunch of stuff. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Happy Valentine's Day. Hope you guys are staying safe out there. And be chill, be good. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace off.